Union. So really glad to have you here, and the floor is yours, Doctor.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry, I want to make share screen. How to make it?
Yeah, it should work now.
Share screen, it works now?
Yeah, it should work.
Yes.
Share. Okay. Now, it appears now, share screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And good day for everyone. And before starting my talk, I would like to apologize in advance for the possibility of a power outage for a moment while the generator will be starting automatically. And perhaps the internet being cut off for a moment. It's nowadays, unfortunately, our situation in Lebanon. So sorry in advance.
Yeah, it's okay.
On February 15, 2013, a sky object exploded over Chelyabinsk, south of Russia. It measured about 18 meters only, but the explosion released energy estimated at about 500 kilotons of TNT. They say about 20 to 30 times more energy than the Hiroshima atomic bomb. Although no people or buildings were hit directly by the falling object, but the shockwave injured about 1,500 people and caused damage to 7,200 buildings in the region. In fact, similar celestial visitors shoot daily through our sky, like fireworks. They often evaporate in the atmosphere before reaching Earth's surface. But sometimes the rest of these hits the ground, and then we collect them as meteorites. So a meteorite is then a space rock that strikes the surface of the Earth. Before it hits the surface of the Earth, we call it meteoroid. But such shooting star may be a simple meteor. Meteors are grains of icy dust left over from a comet's tail in the Earth's orbit. They are attracted by Earth's gravity and accelerate to about 70 kilometers per second before they enter the Earth's atmosphere and burn within a fraction of a second. Sometimes the original grain, the dusty grain, is already as large as a hazelnut or a bean, and it reaches a few kilometers above the Earth's surface before exploding as a fireball. Meteors are in fact colored. The color of a meteor depends on the chemical structure of the related meteoroid. The color shows the dominant wave in its spectrum. For example, here we see indigo for calcium, green for magnesium, blue for iron, red for nitrogen, yellow for sodium, etc. Thousands of meteoroids enter Earth's atmosphere every hour. The total mass of such extraterrestrial objects that strike Earth is estimated about 10 million to 1 billion kilograms per year, or about 1 ton to 100 tons per hour as average. Much of this material is dust-sized objects called micrometeorites. You can only see a meteor if you are on dark night and you happen to be looking in the right direction, or if you know where they are coming from. So you look at the source point and wait for it to strike. Meteor showers. A meteor shower results when Earth passes through a cloud of icy dust left by a comet in Earth's orbit. They are usually named after the constellation from which they appear coming. For example, Leonids, when the meteors appear emanating from the constellation Leo. And so for Geminids, when they appear coming from Gemini, Draconids from Dracon, Orionids from Orion constellation. Astronomers now have timetables of the most intense meteor showers, their dates, their origins, and the names of the comets that left them. For example, take the Perseid meteors in this table at the middle, okay? We observe them before dawn on the nights of August 11 to 13 August in the northeastern direction, where we find Perseus constellation. We expect to see about 50 meteors per hour at peak time as an average. These meteors are caused by the remnants of comet Swift-Tuttle. Many meteoroids are said to originate from asteroids. Other meteoroids may originate from the moon or from Mars if hit by a big object. Asteroids are rocky bodies with irregular shapes revolving around the sun. About 5,000 of them have been officially classified in size, in mass, in period. The largest one is Ceres, which measures about 940 kilometers in diameter. Here in the picture, you see Vesta, Pallas, Hygiea, but asteroids may be as small as the hand grip. They probably are fragments that fail to accrete into a planet. Most known asteroids in our solar system are located in the so-called asteroids belt. The asteroids belt is a swarm of about 100,000 objects revolving around the sun between Mars and Jupiter orbits. Among these classified asteroids, we know 432 objects with satellites. I mean, they have moons. You see, small asteroids, small stones with moons. 416 are binaries. Binaries, I mean, they are asteroids with one satellite revolving around them, one moon. 15 are triple systems. I mean, asteroids that have two satellites, two moons around everyone. There is another one called Chariklo, has a ring system. Rings like planet Saturn. Imagine a small stone, a small asteroid, have rings around him. In the picture, we see the asteroid Ida of 60 kilometers approximately in length, and its moon, Dactyl, which measures 700 meters only. The asteroids are distributed as the following. We have near-Earth asteroids, asteroids that approach to Earth in orbits, Mars-crossing asteroids, main belt asteroids, Jupiter Trojan asteroids. Here, Trojan is a group of asteroids that share the planet Jupiter's orbit around the sun. They have the same orbit as Jupiter around the sun. And we have trans-Neptunian objects, the objects that cross Neptune orbit. These include 4 dwarf planets like Pluto, Rmaya, Eris, and Makemake. Craters on Earth. In its history, Earth was exposed to millions of meteorites. To be aware about, we should look at our neighbor, the moon, which, unlike Earth, the moon does not erase its memory. It conserves its memory impacts. The density of craters on the moon let us estimate how much Earth has been exposed in its history. Scientists have discovered an approximate total of 300 big meteorite craters on Earth. 40 of them are larger than 20 kilometers. The size of the impact crater depends on such factors as the size and velocity of the impacting object and the angle at which it strikes the surface of the Earth. But in general, usually, the crater diameter due to a meteorite hit is about 20 times the diameter of the meteorite itself. The Barringer meteorite crater is the most famous crater on Earth. Sorry, do I have to admit the visitors or you admit them? Sorry, Orfa.
Yeah, we will admit them. Just,
you admit them.
Yeah, we will not bother you with that. So we're gonna work in the participant. Thank you.
Okay, so you admit them. Okay. Usually the crater, okay, is about 20 times the diameter of the meteorite itself. Here we see the Barringer meteorite crater, which is the most famous crater on Earth. Its impact occurred about 50,000 years ago. Its crater measures 1,600 meters across and 20 meters deep. 30 tons of fragments were recovered from that meteorite in the past. Here we see some visitors at the bottom of Arizona craters. Some of the asteroids have orbits that bring them close to Earth. These are called Amor objects, the path in red on the picture. Some have orbital paths that cross the orbital path of the Earth. These are called Apollo objects, and they are very dangerous. All objects that have a close approach to Earth are referred to as near-Earth objects, or NEOs. Many NEOs will eventually collide with Earth due to their unstable orbits under the influence of both Earth and Mars. Prediction and warning. In 2011, NASA announced that they had identified 911 near-Earth objects out of 1,000 estimated, a size greater than 1 kilometer. And the collision with one of these is very catastrophic. 5,200 NEOs with moderate size from 100 meters to 1 kilometer have been found and are being tracked, but the total estimated number is over 15,000 near-Earth objects. In this table, we noticed the passage of relatively large astronomical objects between the Earth and the Moon in 1976 and 2011. It's estimated that another large object will pass in 2028. and scientists are anxiously awaiting the passage of Apophis, about 400 meters in size. It will pass at very close distance from Earth in 2029, but this meteoroid may collide with Earth in 2036, and it's dangerous. Within recent history, meteorites have even hit humans. In 1908, a meteorite hit Tunguska Forest in Siberia, Russia. In 1954, a 5-kilogram meteorite fell through the roof of a house in Alabama. In 2003, a 20-kilogram meteorite crashed through a house in New Orleans. In 2003 also, a shower of meteorites destroyed several houses and injured 20 people in India. In 2007, a meteorite of about 1 meter crashed in Peru. The impact created a crater about 13 meters wide and 4.5 meters deep. Many local residents became sick from noxious emitted fumes. In 2013, as I mentioned, a meteorite exploded in the sky over Chelyabinsk, south of Russia. And every day, we often witness the passage of dangerous asteroids at risky distances from Earth. The evolution of life on Earth has likely been affected by collisions with these space objects. And collisions could affect Earth in the future as well. Most scientists theorize that dinosaurs became extinct due to a giant meteorite crash 65 million years ago. The possible location of the impact is Chicxulub crater in Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Geologic record of mass extinction. It has long been known that extinction of species have occurred at specific times in the history of our planet. Among the mechanisms that have been suggested to have caused these mass extinctions have been large volcanic eruptions, changes in climatic conditions, changes in sea level, global pandemics, and meteor impacts. The last mass extinction occurred about 65 million years ago, the extinction of dinosaurs, as I mentioned. And now composition and classification of meteorites. There are 3 basic types: stony meteorites, iron meteorites, and stony iron meteorites. Most of these are magnetized. The stony meteorites, these constitute the most common type of meteorites. They make up 90% of all faults, and they resemble Earth stones. There is 2 subcategories: chondrites and achondrites. The word chondrites in general, any stony meteorite, is characterized by the presence of chondrules. Chondrules are roughly spherical inclusions, typically hundreds of micrometers to a few millimeters in size. They are made up of silicate, metal, and sulfide, and they appear to have formed as molten droplets at high temperatures in the early solar nebula. There's one variety of chondrites contains carbon compounds, which scientists believe might have been the precursors of life on Earth. Iron meteorites, they are made up of crystalline iron-nickel alloy. They made up only 5% of all faults, and they are similar to Earth's metallic core. Stony iron meteorites, they are made up of iron-nickel alloy plus non-metallic mineral matter. They made up only 5% of all falls also, and they are similar to where Earth's core meets the mantle. And the final paragraph is meteorite hunters. Nowadays, meteorites hunters abound as a hobby or for investment and profit. What tools do they use? They use metal detectors, high-powered magnet, map, a GPS, etc. Where do they search? Searching a known strewn field with plotted maps help locate pieces scattered over large land. Using eyewitness accounts about falling meteorites may help also narrow the search. They begin by searching for a stone whose structure is different from the ambient land. Then, a spectral analysis may determine if this stone belonged to Earth layer or to a space origin, strange to early to Earth layer. This is my talk. Thank you very much for listening, and if there is any question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed. We will see if there is any questions from our audience. Please feel free to write your questions on the comments. So.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Sha'lan, do you think that the main asteroid belt between Jupiter and Mars is originally a planet that enhanced to be formed because of the higher gravity of Jupiter, or just the main asteroid belt is just the rest of the solar system formation?
Sorry, can you write the question so
yes.
I can read it? Why I cannot enlarge the
screen?
Yeah.
There, that button there, like TV button, just down. Yeah, near the minus, near the zoom minus.
Okay. No.
Not down. Yeah, they're like 3 button note, comment, and yeah, near the zoom they are like this, like TV.
Okay. Share security stuff more. Automate pause. I can't find it. No. Well, I can't find it. Chat fraction break optimize for video clip. That's it. Share copy hide.
No, in fact, if you go in the right button side.
Okay. Now, yes.
No, in fact, your screen is not shared.
Okay. Stop the split screen, but so I can see the table and the screen. Yeah. Yes. Now, may you repeat the question, please? It was about?
Yeah, in fact, my question is about the main asteroid belt between Jupiter and Mars. It was, in fact, a planet that enhanced to be formed because of the higher gravitation of Jupiter, or it's originally is the asteroid in that main principal belt is just the rest of the solar system formation?
Well, scientists, it's more probable that they are the remnants of the solar system. They fail to be attracted to Jupiter or to Mars, and their velocities conserve them between يعني on orbits between Jupiter and Mars. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, in fact, all of the questions are in the chat.
Okay.
Where is it? Oh, okay. From Habib al-Kag, I will read the question in Arabic. كيف يمكن للنيازك أن تحمل الحياة إلى الأرض? And I will answer in Arabic. So, بات معروفا أن النيازك ومواد المذنبات خاصة تحوي مواد عضوية، مواد كربونية عضوية، وهي في الفضاء البعيد على برودة 250 درجة مئوية تحتفظ بنوع من ما يشبه الفيروس النائم الذي إن وجد في أمكنة أخذ منها طاقة تستطيع التحول إلى نوع من الحياة. فهكذا يمكن النيازك أن تحمل الحياة إلى الأرض. سؤال آخر من فاطمة الرشيد: هل يمكن للنيازك أن تخبرنا ما حدث للأرض والكون؟ النيازك في الواقع تخبرنا عن نشأة النظام الشمسي. إنها أجسام خام، أجسام لم تتعرض للتحول، فهي تخبرنا عن الظروف التي نشأت فيها النظام الشمسي. From Hussein Fahas, please, is there information about the average number of asteroids that enter Earth's atmosphere? I said there's maybe the mass of them. The mass, I said there are millions of tons per year, but this depends. So, we have some big objects and some micro meteorites. So the total mass is like this. Why the asteroid formed of different metals? They are not formed of different metals, but on Earth, and because the gravity of Earth is big, is 9 Newton per kilogram approximately, the heavy metals sink to inside Earth, sink day after day, year after year, they sink in the Earth, in the layer of Earth. So the layer of Earth has a density of about 2 grams per cc because of that. And when we search for an asteroid, we search for example, the heavy metals, like, for example, iridium. The proportion of iridium in an asteroid, in a meteorite, is 7 times greater than that on the layer of Earth. Because on the layer of Earth, it has time to sink inside. Okay?
There is a question from Sana Ayari, in which is asking, is the only use of meteorites in research, or there are other uses, like, for example, economic uses?
Economic uses of what? Sorry?
Meteorites. Is the only use of meteorites in research, or there are other uses, like in economics, for example, economic uses?
If it happened to catch a very big meteorite, for example, and will be catastrophic in all. But for example, the meteor in Arizona crater, 30 tons of substance, of heavy metals are taken from this crater. But after the catastrophe, okay? After the catastrophe, we can be economic. We can use economic we can use economic profit from the meteorite, but we don't need that. We don't need the catastrophe. Okay.
Yes. So there is an interesting question which I have seen lately from Benaisha Ayman. So he said, how true is the news that meteorites represent a real danger as they are considered as carriers of space viruses, if they exist? Especially there is a hypothesis that there are living organisms in outer space.
Yes, certainly. Now, scientists believe that asteroids or meteoroids, they carry viruses or viruses like certain substance like viruses that live in a convenient environment. In fact, the most carrier of these viruses are comets more than asteroids or meteoroids, because the comets, the material of the comets is formed of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen, and these are organic substance, and the organic substance are the precursor of life. Okay.
Yes, thank you. So another question from حبيب. كيف يمكن لحجارة الكواكب الصخرية التابعة لنظامنا الشمسي مثل المريخ أن تأتي إلى الأرض؟
عند ارتطام كويكب آخر أو نيزك آخر بسطح المريخ أو بسطح القمر، وبما أن جاذبية المريخ ليست كافية، ليست كبيرة بما يكفي كي تعيد الحجر المنطلق منها بسرعة كبيرة إلى سطحها، أو القمر كذلك. بينما على الأرض نريد أي جسم كي يفلت من الأرض ينبغي أن تكون سرعته فوق 11 كيلومتر في الثانية، وهذه سرعة كبيرة جدا. بينما على سطح المريخ أو على سطح القمر يكفي 3 أو 4 كيلومتر بالثانية كي يفلت من الكوكب، وبذلك قد يدور في مدار آخر ويستطيع أن يصل إلى الأرض، وهذا حصل فعلا، ونجد على الأرض أحجار كثيرة قمرية وأحجار كثيرة مريخية.
شكرا. السؤال اللي بعده من فاطمة رشيد، تسأل هل من الممكن أن تحتوي الكويكبات على الغاز أو حتى تكون غازية مثل طبيعة كوكب المشتري؟
لا، الكويكبات هي مواد صخرية، هي حجارة، هي أحجار، هي تجمعات صخرية. أكبرها كما قلت وسيريس حوالي 1000 كيلومتر، 940 كيلومتر، وأصغرها قد يكون بقبضة اليد أو أكثر، لكنها كلها صخرية وليست غازية. قد تحتوي على كوندولز كما قلت، فقاعات بداخلها هوائية أو غازية، ولكن هي بمجملها صخرية.
So another question from Zainab Jwini. She's asking, are only asteroids that caused the extinction of dinosaurs, or are there other reasons?
ما أباد الديناصورات هو كما هو معروف نيزك كبير سقط، وقد أدى إلى تبخر مواد كثيرة من سطح الأرض إلى الجو بشكل أخفى الشمس لمدة 2 أو أكثر، وقد غابت بذلك الزراعات، ومات بسببها، انقرضت بسببها الديناصورات. هناك أسباب أخرى للإكستنشن، للإبادات الجماعية كما قلت، ولكن هذه الحادثة بالذات هي المتهم فيها هو سقوط نيزك. وفي طبقات الأرض الطبقات التي تدل على تاريخ 65 مليون سنة، فالطبقة على معظم الكوكب هذه الطبقة تحتوي على نسبة عالية من الإيريديوم، ما يدل أنه منذ 65 مليون سنة هناك فعلا سقوط نيزك كبير غطت مواده بعد انتشارها معظم سطح الأرض.
So another question from Maisa. She's asking, can asteroids turn into comets? Can asteroids turn into comets?
No, the comets have their location also. Another location. We have two possible locations for comets. Short period comets are behind Neptune, and we have Oort cloud at the periphery of the solar system. And the comets are different structure. They are small bodies of 5 or 10 kilometers only, formed by dust and gas, gelated gas, يعني under very low temperature. They are icy bodies, okay, icy small bodies. When they approach to the sun during their revolution around the sun, they will see evaporate a long tail, and we say the comet is with long tail. It becomes perspective, okay? But no, it cannot be converted into. An asteroid is different from a comet.
Okay, thanks. Another question from Sana Ayari. She's asking, what do you think about the impact of the giant asteroid Didymos, the one who is approaching Earth in October 2022?
2022?
Yes.
I don't read any about the impact of the giant asteroid Didymos, the one who is approaching Earth. But scientists don't say about the possibility of collision with Earth. And we have every day asteroids passing at certain distance from Earth, at one astronomical unit, or maybe at less than one astronomical unit. But I didn't read about this. I don't know.
سؤال آخر من حبيب. برأيكم كم هو الاحتمال أن تكون الحياة فعلا بدأت من انهمار نيزكي؟
إنها نظرية. إنها إحدى النظريات التي تعرفون بداية الحياة على الأرض بدأت في المياه، وبدأت بنمو الأكسجين في الغلاف الجوي، ولكن هناك عدة نظريات وهذه إحدى النظريات.
Thank you. Another question from Hussein. He's asking, does the presence of asteroids, their speeds, etc., emphasize the Big Bang Theory?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because asteroids are limited on the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. They are confined between these planets. They have their revolution around them. They are not like, for example, galaxies. When you say Big Bang, you look at the galaxies sparking away from a certain point, which is considered as the beginning, the Big Bang, okay? Not the asteroids.
So we have another question from our social media platforms. Why do comets have tails?
Because I said comets are ice and dust, small spheres, small bodies. When they approach to the sun evaporates the material, the gas and the dust, and they will have two tails, in fact. an ionic tail, and a dust tail. So the tail is due to the heating of the nucleus of the comet. Okay.
Thank you. Another question from also our social media platforms. What are inside asteroids?
Inside asteroid is a stone. So it is in general homogeneous. And its layer, it's like it's it's due to, as I said, we have 3 basic types, but all of them contain metal, silicate, and sulfide, okay, in general.
Yes, thank you. Okay, there is a question also from our social media platforms. Has a comet ever hit our moon, and how many?
Oh, how many? Billions. I think that billions of asteroids and comets have hit the moon. And if we look at the picture I put it, it's clear that the moon's surface is full of craters. Okay.
Yes. So, what was the first ever comet's name?
The first comet's name?
Yes.
The first comet discovered is Halley, I think. But it wasn't the first seen. Halley was observed by Chinese 250 years before Christmas. And they have documents on the rocks indicating that. Okay.
So we have, thanks. We have another question from, I'm not sure about the pronunciation of the name. Sorry for that, Jean-Pierre or John-Pierre, which is, I guess, Jean-Pierre. So he said, good evening. What do you think about Oumuamua?
It seems that it's a special meteoroid. It's elongated. Some suppose that maybe it's extraterrestrial machine, extraterrestrial, how to say, a ship or something like that. But I think it's a particular meteoroid that have this form. It's very elongated.
So another question from Habib. He's asking هل يمكن للنيازك أن تأتي من خارج المجموعة الشمسية؟
Yes, this is possible. Why not? في مجرتنا هناك الكثير من الحوادث التي قد تحمل جسم هائل السرعة ناتج عن كوكب بعيد اصطدم به، بعيد عن شمسه، بعيد عن نجمه، اصطدمت به نيزك آخر وقد يتوجه نحو المجموعة الشمسية. لما لا؟ Another question. Sana Ayari, how can distinguish between a moon asteroid or asteroid from other planet if it's possible? Yes, it's
your
possible.
Mic is closed.
Yeah, because the nature or the structure of the moon layer, the moon surface is known. So we compare the asteroid to this structure, and we know if there is homogeneity or there's a resemblance between them. Okay, we can know if the asteroid or the meteorite comes from the moon or from another planet.
Okay, thank you. هل ممكن للنيازك زينب جويني سألت هل ممكن للنيازك أن تكون سبب في انقراض البشرية يوما ما مثل ما حدث يعني للديناصورات؟
Yeah, why not? This is the worst consideration. لما لا؟ قد يحدث ذلك لو أصبنا بنيزك كبير 10 كيلومتر أو أكثر قد، لكن في المدى المنظور النيازك الكبيرة مرصودة كما قلت، مرصودة ومعروف اتجاهها، وليس في الأفق الحالي في زمن الأفق الحالي ما يوحي بأن اصطداما مثل هذا سوف يقع قريبا، ولكن الأحداث الفلكية قد تكون قد تحدث فجأة ولا أحد يعرف في المدى البعيد كيف يمكن أن تتكون الأمور.
I guess this is the last question. So thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed Sha'lan, for this enlightening and entertaining lecture on shooting stars, their nature, origin, and risks. We really appreciate having you today. Thank you to everyone for being here. And please note that we have another webinar, which is going to be at 5 p.m. UTC. For those of you who are interested in learning more about the challenges and opportunities that asteroids present. Thank you so much again, Dr. Ahmed Sha'lan. Stay safe and bye-bye. Bye-bye.
And thank you for all friends. Okay, thank you all.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.